go to uni, get married, have a boyfriend, get married, have kids, be close to your home.
Yeah.
It is a struggle because English men, or I'm dating an Australian, or Australian men don't see it that way.
English men or Australian men? Putting us in a little bit of a box there.
I'm not gonna generalize, but it is. You already started.
Oh, sorry. 3, 2, 1, action.
My name is Daniela. I am Mexican, born and raised. I chose London because the first time that I came to London, I was 18. I was just supposed to come for 5 days, and I fell in love with the place that I stayed for a year.
A year.
Yeah, in a gap year.
Was there a reason that you came to London? What was it about London that you thought,
Well, the reason that I came to London initially was because I was traveling with my family.
Okay.
So I was traveling with my family, and the first place that we got on that trip was London. And then I fell in love with the city and I really wanted to stay. My parents were really against it, and I changed my flight and I stayed without their consent, and it was pretty hilarious.
Pretty hilarious. That's interesting. Hilarious in hindsight or hilarious at the time?
At that time was funny. Right now, I was like, what the fuck I was thinking? I was a fucking child. I can swear, right?
Yes, you can swear.
Okay. I was like...
Spanish is better too.
When I was living here, when I was 18, working as a waitress, I always said I want to come back and actually become a professional, working and doing the 9 to 5 as a normal English person.
How long have you been now here?
5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, I was going to say welcome, but that's a long time.
Yeah, so the welcome is long, dude.
In terms of the key differences in UK culture compared to Mexican culture, what would you say were the key differences there?
Oof. I come from a really privileged place in Mexico, so my aspect and how I see Mexico is potentially really different than almost all of the population.
Okay.
So I think that's a really important key factor.
Yeah.
Just because of how I see things and what my experience in Mexico is compared to in London. The way that I see London different to in Mexico is just like here you can be whoever you want and you'll be accepted. There's all the time someone more weird, more funny, more intelligent. There's always someone bigger than you and more geeky than you. And for me, that was something that I was like, I found that London, I could actually be myself fully without hiding that part of me, which in Guadalajara, where I come from, is not well accepted because I'm a woman. I'm not following the script that they put for me. I need to want to have a family when I'm 20.
So is it like you came to London and you kind of now feel like you can just be whoever you want to be? Is Guadalajara more traditional in that sense?
Oh yeah, super
interesting.
traditional. It's a tricky one. I went to a Catholic school, only girls. There was certain type of expectations, which there's nothing wrong with those expectations. There's nothing wrong with the path that they wrote for me in that society.
Yeah.
It's just I didn't want to follow it.
What kind of expectations did they have?
Go to uni, get married, have a boyfriend, get married, have kids, be close to your home.
Yeah.
I found it really funny, but of the people in my city, that they still go eat every single Tuesday, traditionally, to their parents' house, even though they have already a husband. It's really small details. And if you get out of that path that they wrote for you, it's kind of like not well received.
You're shunned. No, maybe not.
Not fully, but it's not well received because my mom struggles a lot. She always says like, oh, I expected for my daughter to live close to me, for whenever you have grandkids, for the grandkids to be left to me because I'm your mom and you are my only daughter. She expects me to have the wedding on white. The sexuality bit, it's taboo. So like, you don't speak about sexuality.
Okay.
Even though everybody knows that it happens, but nobody talks about it because it's not well seen.
What, like, sort of sex is taboo among people?
It's not taboo among people because everybody knows that it happens. You need to do it really secretive. But also, I left when I was really young. The first time that I left, I was 18. And since I've been going on and off till I finally moved to London.
Right.
And I moved here when I was 24, which I was still really young. My experience when I was there was that everything needed to be super secretive and like everything is a bit controlled. And
Sounds like a lot of pressure to be
yeah.
a specific kind of person. I often meet people who move to London having been through those same sort of things, and the reason they've moved away is because they're not like the people that they've left in some sense. There's a reason they don't want to be in that bubble, I suppose.
I love my friends, don't get me wrong. I absolutely adore them. I love my family. It's just sometimes the rules and yeah, it's just a constant, how do you say, defraudar?
Defraudar. Like a disillusionment, I guess.
In a sort of way,
Yeah.
because it's...
Disillusionment? Disillusioned? I don't know. When you think of UK culture, what do you think of?
Well, depends. Before I moved to London or after I moved to London?
Before and then after.
Okay, before I thought everybody spoke like Hugh Grant. Everybody had a lot of tea. Half of the people were from the royals. Well, not half of the people, that's really uncultured, but yes.
Like everyone knows someone who's related to the royals.
Somehow.
That's brilliant.
I always pictured people in England read a lot. I grew up reading Jane Austen.
Right.
I was obsessed with Jane Austen books since I was really young. Harry Potter. I'm a massive geek when it comes to Harry Potter. So I just had that like relation of British kids must read so much and British kids must have instruments everywhere because so many rock bands come from the UK that I'm just like, they must play instruments on the streets, which that's true.
Yeah, they are.
But
We do.
so that was my aspect before coming. Living here, it's such a multicultural place that it just makes it really interesting. I have English friends, but it's the way that I describe them and the way that I describe my relationship with them. It's like trying to peel an onion, getting into a group of English girls. You meet one and you work this person for quite a bit. You know that she has her group and you start meeting her friends and everything. And it's just like you peel that layer of this woman that becomes your friend and the relationship starts becoming mutual.
Yes.
And everything. So you peel that layer and then you need to start working the other friend. And then finally you peel that one and then you need to peel the other one. And finally you become part of a group.
So what you could say is, like ogres, British women are like onions. Lots of layers.
If you want to put Shrek on it, that's...
What do British women and ogres have in common?
I didn't say that, you did.
Moving swiftly on to the dating aspect, because obviously what with where you've come from, it's very traditional.
Yeah.
How does that compare with dating in London?
I think when I first got here, I was really excited about a different way of dating.
Right.
Just because I was like, oh my gosh, everything's so new. Because nobody knows you and nobody cares about you. Well, in the fact that the people that care for you are your friends and are your family and friends. They're the ones that they care for you and they're there for you. But if you date someone, you're not expecting to bump into that person again in London. Like bumping into someone that you went on a date with. Yes, it can happen because it has happened to me, but it's not common. Like the odds of that happening is really slim. In my city was, everybody knew you went on a date with this person. Everybody knew you did this, la la la. So I was excited about like just dating and having fun at the beginning. But COVID came, so my fun got diluted.
Yes.
For quite a bit. But it was really different that I was like, okay, I like that. And then I started picking and choosing things I like of each society and how do I like dating man from each side, because I can also not completely be like, ooh, magically I moved to London and I stopped liking what I liked all my life because that was the only thing I knew.
Right, okay.
So I was like, okay, I tried a bit this way of dating, English way.
What do you mean by the English way of dating?
So Mexicans tend to be more slow, like you actually date first instead of sleeping with them directly.
Oh, in that sense.
Yeah.
Modern romance.
Yeah, it's more of, here is more of like first date, second date, third date, they're already expecting it. Like if you don't have sex with them on the second or third date, they automatically think you're not into them. When in a reality, in my society, it's more of like first date, second date, third date, potentially maybe on the fourth you sleep with them. There's girls that they can go for months without sleeping with their boyfriends until they become boyfriend and girlfriend, which could be months.
Did you feel a kind of pressure in that sense?
I wouldn't say I felt pressured because I don't do things because I feel pressured, and that's
good.
one of those things that I'm like, if I don't want to, you can fuck off. because
Fair
I
enough.
want to. If
Good.
I want to, then great. But feel pressured and have sex because I'm feeling pressured.
Because of like what the society thinks. Like,
Believe me, the society here doesn't know that I exist. If this guy thinks, oh, she's too nonny or whatever,
nunny.
I'm never gonna see you again, and we're definitely not right for each other.
Yes, that's fair enough.
And if by the second date I'm still doubting if I want to sleep with you, there's no chemistry, mate. I know pretty well when I want to sleep with someone straight away. If I am waiting for the second or the third date or the fourth date, is because I haven't shaved, I'm on my period. Like, there's other common things that could be happening, but you usually know when you want to live with someone. It's not that.
It's not complicated, really.
No, that's when the animal instinct come out.
Yes.
But on the terms of how do I mix the Mexican dating compared to the English,
Yeah.
when I'm dating a man, I like to date a single man. I really struggle with dating multiple people at the same time. I cannot focus. I don't like it. Why should I do it if I don't like it?
Yeah.
Because also I think about it and I'm like, ooh, me sleeping with multiple men, but it's just preference.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I'm correct, doesn't mean that I'm incorrect. It is a struggle because English men, or I'm dating an Australian, or Australian men don't see it that way.
Englishmen or Australian men? Putting us in a little bit of a box there.
I'm not gonna generalize, but it is.
Have you noticed that sort of dating British men and then Australian, you've been like, oh, they're pretty similar in the way they date?
Yeah.
That's very interesting because, yeah, you're kind of correct in that sense. Well, in my experience, I felt that.
I haven't dated the whole population of Australia and the whole population of England.
That is
So
true. That
it's
is a
just my
generalisation.
personal experience of the teeny weeny little amount of people that I've dated.
Yeah.
But that's how I felt it.
I tend to date multiple people at once. Especially when I don't know where something's going with someone I really like. I'm like, well, I'm going to date other people because I need to constantly compare and contrast. And then that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, if the person that you're seeing isn't giving you enough attention, well, for me anyway, I'd want it from other people, because that's just the kind of person I am, really. If I'm dating one person, I'd want all of the attention on me. But if I'm not getting it, that's why I would go and date multiple people at once, if you know what I mean.
Interesting.
But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm sleeping with multiple people at once. It's just like going on dates.
That whole thing of seeing multiple people is something that I haven't been able to tackle. And I don't think I want to. Well, I'm on a pretty stable relationship by now.
You won't want to do it now, so yeah.
Yeah. It's just the classic, let's have the talk, the magical talk.
The magical talk.
The magical talk.
Where is this going?
With Jack, I didn't have it. It was really weird how we became exclusives. I decided to go with the approach of, okay, he's potentially dating other people.
Right.
I cannot tell him otherwise because we're nothing, which that's also fair. He can do whatever he wants. But I just went more with an approach of, for the sanity check. And for sanitary purposes of, I don't want any type of
Diseases.
Just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Right, yes.
And that's the approach that I took, which I don't think it was the most successful. But it worked because I'm still here and I'm still with him, and we did become exclusives. So
there we go. Congratulations, you eventually got there. And with a Commonwealther.
With a Commonwealther.
Commonwealther, no less. I've heard that like Mexico City is quite
trendy,
yes.
Mexico City, look, it looks amazing, but there's so many people.
Like London, so many people?
26 million, babes.
Oh, more. Oh, way more. Okay.
Like,
wow.
The third biggest city in the world, the second biggest city in the world.
That's a lot of people running around.
And it's really intense, and I love my Mexican culture, but it's a lot. I love going to Mexico City just for the visit, for the weekend, go to nice cafes. It's like a London, and everybody says like, oh, you stay in your areas. But I'm like, what I love about London is the green areas, which Mexico City don't have.
Where's your favourite green area?
Oh, in London?
What's your go-to green area? Yeah.
Oof, that's a really tough question.
Mine is Greenwich. Greenwich Park is my favourite place.
I haven't been to Greenwich so much.
It's just the backdrop of, well, you're looking at the London skyline, but then in front of it, you've got the Maritime Museum, so like the old and the new together, and I just think it's the most beautiful thing. I love it.
I'm gonna sound really hacknicky. Ooh, my go-to on a Saturday was always London Fields, Broadway Market, get some food, chill in the canals. That was my go-to.
That's nice.
I went to a lot of dates there
Like on the
during
Hackney Wick
pandemic.
Green, that sort of green area near sort
Yeah.
of Columbia Road and all that.
No, not Columbia Road.
okay.
No,
I don't
London
really
Fields.
Oh, is that different? Okay. You know Hackney better than me. Once you become East, you know East.
Oh yeah, I know East.
But I don't know East very well.
I've been living there for 5 years.
No tubes, can't do it.
Yeah, there's this thing that it's orange.
Oh,
Well,
God, the
it was
overground.
orange.
Don't even talk to me about the overground. Can't stand the overground.
No, it has air conditioning, so it's better than any Central Line, Black Line, any color line. It's better.
The way to go is orange.
It's not orange anymore, sadly.
Oh, there's different
They
colours
changed
now.
it, yeah.
The Weaver line.
Yeah,
That's what I
the
remember.
Windrush.
What would you say the weirdest thing about British culture is?
But I recently learned that you guys have a dish, eel on
Jellied eels?
jellied eels.
See, I've never tried that in my life.
Yeah, but apparently it's a really British thing,
Yeah.
which I really... I saw it and I was like, ew.
Where did you see it?
Online?
Oh,
Saw it
right.
Online?
Okay, yeah, that is a bit weird.
I was going to say the amount that they complain about the weather. But
But then you kind of understand why.
I get it. In Mexico, people underestimate the weather.
What do you mean they underestimate it?
So in Mexico, it's sunny all the time.
Right, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like when it rains, people actually enjoy the rain because it's like proper thunder tropical rain, which it floods my city. And when you grab a cozy blanket and grab a hot chocolate, it's the middle of our summer.
Right, okay.
Tropical place, basically.
Fair enough.
I have never waken up one day in Mexico and said, oh my gosh, it's sunny. It doesn't change my mood. I never understood that until I was living in London and I was like, people in Mexico really, really underestimate the weather because it's all the time sunny and it is great. Living in London, and yes, weather is shit sometimes, we all agree to that, but oh my gosh, when it's a really good day in winter and it's crispy cold and you have a good jacket on and you're taking a nice coffee, you're warm because you have a scarf, a beanie, everything on. Those days are the days that I'm like, I love living here.
When it's cold, oh God.
But it's crispy and it's sunny.
Yeah, no. We don't take the weather for granted here. At least I don't. I remember very specifically the times where I'm like, oh, this is why I'm so happy, because I haven't seen the sun in so long.
Happy or unhappy?
As in, like, I just remember when I was living in Brixton, a particularly sunny day, and I was like, I'm happy today because I haven't seen this in about a month. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you really sort of take in the fact that you don't get it all the time, and so you appreciate it more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
But jellied eels, ugh, gross. We are weird. Why the hell would we invent that? I don't know.
I don't know.
On par with haggis, I think.
Haggis, is that the
Sheep's
sausage?
innards. It's a sheep's innards.
It is a sausage, no?
Is it? That's black pudding.
No, black pudding is blood.
Pig's blood. Oh God, also that.
The thing about people eating blood, in Spain they do it, in Portugal they do it.
Oh,
They
is that
just,
quite normal?
Yeah, they just name it differently.
Speaking of food,
Tell me.
what do you think of British food? Because I love Mexican food, and I can't really say the same about my own food.
Well, depends what you consider English food.
Fish and chips, shepherd's pie.
It's bland food compared to Mexican. As in, if I'm sick in Mexico, that's what I eat because it doesn't have any spice. Well, it is true. But I do love a good shepherd's pie. I do love a good Sunday roast.
Yum.
Like, I went to a fusion Sunday roast place called the Crown Palace or the Crown Prince. Holy Christ, Indian Sunday roast.
Indian Sunday roast.
So good.
That is a fusion.
So good. So worth it.
Nice.
So there's dishes that I do like. But London, so diverse, so everything. You can find whatever you want. And you can find amazing food. But like in Mexico, it's like, oh my gosh, how do you live in London? Oh my gosh, because there's every single nationality that you want. And you'll find every single type of food, including tacos, really good ones. Chicken tikka masala?
Oh, definitely. That is the national dish.
I know, it's a national dish. I don't know
Do you find it confusing?
I don't know how English that is.
It's because we colonised India, but nobody found out about it. I did not learn that at school. We didn't learn about colonisation and that.
I have the book of How to Become British in that bag, actually.
Oh, now how's that going for you?
Yeah, very interesting. I'm learning about Henry VIII.
Oh, you mean the Life in the UK test?
Yeah,
Oh my God. His 6 wives.
I know, and he decapitated one, no?
He was the pioneer of modern romance, that King Henry VIII. This has been Sam and
Dani
who?
is really hungover today and tried my best to reply all of these questions. They're all true. I am Mexican.
Oh, you are? Okay, I was wondering. I was wondering the whole time whether you actually were Mexican. This is the end of this video, and if you liked it, you can like it. If you like it more, you can comment. And if you like Dani, she'll be back soon, I'm sure.
Sure. Bye.
Bye.